You feel like your body hates you, feeling just awful, and you're desperate to try just about anything to make it stop. At the same time, you know there has to be a way to handle these menopause symptoms naturally. You really don't want to go on medication or hormone therapy, or maybe you're not able to. Well, I have great news for you because today we are talking about how to slay menopause naturally with 7 life-changing strategies. Welcome to the Women Rockin' Midlife Podcast, soulful wellness to elevate your second act. You deserve to deeply love every moment of your life, living your best life with pure joy, optimal health and abundance, with the energy, time, and inner peace to savor experiences with your loved ones and with yourself. Hi, I'm Jen Kunkel. Join me on this soulful journey to complete wellness in midlife and beyond. All right, so who is down to alleviate menopause symptoms with natural methods and stay away from the pharmaceuticals, the doctors, or maybe you're not able to do hormone replacement therapy and you need some ways to help make these symptoms better so you don't lose your mind. You feel like your body hates you, you feel like you're going crazy, and it is just no fun, right? That's an understatement, I'm sure. All right, so I want to keep this positive today because we all know what the negatives are. You know how you feel. So let's look at the flip side. I want to focus on the positives today and let you know that you actually can alleviate your symptoms using natural methods completely. I do. I'm not saying I have no symptoms, but I have very few, and they are very, minimal. They're not very intense, okay? Yeah, I have my mood swings sometimes, especially if I haven't been using my natural methods, right? Okay, so today I'm going to share with you 7 natural ways to slay those menopause symptoms. And you don't have to use them all at once, but the more you do, the easier it's going to be, the better your quality of life is going to become. Because here's the deal. We do not have to suffer through this. And I see so many women just trying to power through all of it, thinking eventually it'll end, eventually it'll end. And while that's probably true for most people, I have actually encountered women who are well into their 60s and they've been experiencing menopause symptoms for 15 years and they still are having issues with it. They're still struggling and they're still suffering. So let's find ways to nip it right now, and I'm going to share 7 of those with you. So come back to this. If you want to just pick 1 or 2 that you want to focus on right now, do that, and then come back and do another one, and then do another one. I'm all for making small tweaks in your life to create lifestyle changes, but honestly, some of these are actually super simple, right? All right, so let's start with number 1. These are in no particular order whatsoever. They're all good. They can all be helpful, and everyone's different, right? So what works best for you might not be the thing that works best for somebody else, and what works best for me might not be your best way either. All right, so number 1, eat clean. And I use this as number 1 because it's kind of loaded, right? When people say eat clean, it's very vague. It's very undefined. Nobody has really a standard definition of what eat clean means, because I hear people say they're eating clean, and then when I dig in for more specifics about what they're eating, they're not eating clean, not in the way that I define it. So let's just keep this really simple right now. To me, eating clean, the basic level, is to cut out refined sugar and processed foods. When you do that, you're going to notice a change in your menopause symptoms. You're going to notice that you feel better. Most people will anyway. Cutting out refined sugar and processed foods. Now, if you already don't eat those things, then that's great. You're on the right track, and maybe you need to focus on some of the other steps. All right, so move your body is number 2. And this is one that I love because it doesn't have to be a lot of movement. It doesn't have to be go work out at the gym 2 hours a day. No, no, no. If you are being very sedentary right now and you just start walking, or maybe even just go out dancing if that's more fun, anything to kind of kickstart things in your body to be more active, right? I found that I used to work out all the time. From the time that I was 19 until well into my 30s, I worked out, like if I only worked out 4 days a week, that's what I said. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I only worked out 4 days this week." And I got out of that habit over time. So when I hit my late 40s, early 50s, as the menopause symptoms really started kicking in, my hormones started changing, I could feel it, and I felt tired. And of course, I attributed that to, oh, I'm getting older. Oh, it is my hormones changing. Maybe I need to accept that. Well, that didn't last very long because that's not how I operate. And I do like to work out. So I would have sporadic times when I would exercise more often. But when I really started feeling bad because I wasn't moving my body enough, all I had to do is start walking every morning. And it started out really short, and then I started doing more. And I had this hill behind where I lived that I started walking up and down. So I was adding, that elevation. So you can do whatever you want to move your body. You can just find some YouTube videos that you like, do some kind of Zumba or hip hop or some kind of dance or whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. Get on a stationary bike, ride a real bike, anything is going to help if you do it consistently. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, dance once a week and that's going to make it better. It's probably not going to work as well if you only do something once a week. However, if that's all you got, do it. I'm all for just start doing things, and it will start to show up for you, right? And you can add things in as you go. Okay, maybe you go once a week. That's great. If that's all you can fit in, that's all you can fit in. Then maybe you squeeze in a walk another time during the week or something. As you get more active, your body starts to kind of crave it. But whatever you're doing, do it as consistently as you possibly can, okay? All right, so number 3, and again, no particular order. This is just how I listed them. Avoid trigger foods. There's going to be some things that you eat or drink that you notice, when I have this, I do not feel as good. And you might want to start keeping track, start paying attention to those things. For example, some people might be triggered by caffeine or red wine, or like I said, certain kinds of foods. I notice if I have a little bit of red wine, I might get a little bit of a warm flash, okay? And, different foods affect me also, especially if they're not on the healthier side. Because nobody's perfect. We're not expecting anybody to be perfect. It's not like I'm sitting here on the other side of this mic eating everything perfectly clean. I don't. I like potato chips. I like chocolate. I like donuts sometimes. And yeah, I have them. And I also will notice that if I have too much of it, I'm going to be affected. Even if I don't have too much, I might notice a difference. But then you just kind of get right back on track, right? Okay. So the other thing, number 4, protein. If you are getting adequate protein, this can support you with your menopause symptoms also. And the great thing here, a lot of women are complaining about weight gain, and when you build your muscle by eating more protein, that supports you with losing more weight. It helps you burn calories more. So the more muscle you have, and I don't mean like you need to look like a bodybuilder. I just mean you're building up your muscles with the protein. Because as we age and our hormones are changing when you get menopause, the you can start to lose muscle. So you want to make sure you have enough protein to keep rebuilding that. All right. And number 5, natural supplements. A lot of women find help with natural supplements. Now, I don't even do this, at least not at this point, and I'm not an expert in it. I'm going to do a little bit of research, though, so that I can share that with you. But for now, there are some natural supplements that you can use for different menopause symptoms. So I'm going to be doing a separate episode on that to get into more detail after I do some research for you. All right, number 6, the easiest one by far, I would say, of course, for me, because I'm a water drinker anyway, I always have been, is drink water. So just make sure you're drinking enough water, staying hydrated. That helps with your general well-being and your health. You can kind of think, if I'm doing something that's healthy, that's probably going to help me with the menopause symptoms too. So the more you pay attention to your general overall wellness, the more that's going to help you stay balanced naturally, okay? All right, and number 7 is meditation and other mindfulness techniques, and that is where I specialize. So if you are experiencing stress and anxiety, then you can use meditation, and there are other mindfulness techniques, other energetic practices that can help you, mind-body practices. So maybe you are feeling stressed and anxious, and someone says, "Oh, hey, try meditation." And you go, "Oh, hey, I'm like way too stressed out to even sit still. How am I supposed to meditate?" So I get that, and I get that a lot. I hear that from people. And I don't usually just go into, "Oh, just meditate. It's super easy," because I get it. It's not super easy. But there are ways to practice, learn how to meditate, learn how to get into these states. And one of the easiest and simplest things that you can do to start with is to just focus on breathing. Don't worry about not thinking about anything. That's hard, especially when your thoughts are racing all over the place. That's a stretch. Let's just remember to breathe to start with, right? Because as we're going about our busy days, even before menopause, think about it. If you had a busy, hectic job, or, kids running around, or whatever the case may be, anything, you might actually find yourself breathing in a really shallow way. Most people in modern society do that. We breathe very, very shallowly, and that kind of makes us hold on to the stress, and it affects our general wellness, and it also makes the menopause symptoms worse. So, first thing, just consider meditation and other mindfulness techniques, but for now, to do this on your own, just focus on breathing. It doesn't have to be anything special. You can do certain breathing meditations, but all I'm talking about is just remind yourself to breathe throughout the day, to remember to take a deep, real breath, right? While you're driving, or you're working, or you're just busy. Maybe stop every once in a while. Put some Post-it notes around that say breathe, or, however you want to do it. Tape it, do some art project that says breathe and put it on your mirror to remind you to breathe, because it's really important. And the deeper your breaths are and the slower, the more calm you become. And actually, that's going to affect your chemistry in your body. Cortisol increases when you're stressed, when you're breathing really shallow. And as you breathe deeper, it all starts to kind of just melt away, right? All right, so recap: eat clean, which means cut out the refined sugar and processed foods. Move your body, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Do all these things consistently. Avoid trigger foods. Pay attention to what your trigger foods are. Make sure you're getting adequate protein. You can find calculators online. And look into natural supplements if that's something you want to do. Drink plenty of water and breathe. All right. And if you would like to dig a little bit deeper into meditation and other mindfulness techniques, then I am happy to hop on a call with you. So there's a way to do that in the description, in the show notes. You go to wildsavvy.com/chat apply. And if you're not quite ready for that, but you want to see what else I've got, you can get my free Menopause Balance mini course by going to wildsavvy.com/gift. And that will also be in the show notes. And in that mini training, there is actually a brief 6-minute meditation that you can try. All right, but for now, breathe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me.